Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
So let's try to do another session, and I thought my plan sort of to really go as what we can do and what we need, and so sort of we'll do like a little bit of discussion on few basic ideas or the concepts. Sort of think of them as, how do we deal with our day-to-day life situations, especially around our attitude, mind, and perception, and then using some very simple breathing techniques, some cleansing practices to really keep ourselves in that light-heartedness or the simplicity of life that we all can bring. And to me, the first topic I thought I want all of us to think together for a few minutes is how do we keep our lives simple? And to me, simple literally means, especially in our own mindset, because, we all are really good in getting caught into something that can be so simple, so little, and then making a big mountain, as we say, isn't it, like a making mountain out of the mount, or in India we say making mountain on your palm with a mustard seed, which is so little, so small. And the path that you all have taken, as far as I understood from Deepika and Sarli and this whole group coming together, in yogic concept we call this path of seva. So the seva means service, looking after and caring for somebody who is very loved to you, and sometimes people maybe we're not very closely connected, but you feel socially or spiritually, or there is something much more bigger, I guess, in life that puts you in that situation to look after, to take care, or to provide your care, your service to somebody without expecting much back from them. And that's sort of really what makes it hard, because we all are a really simple human being, and we all have that heart that offers the service, the care, the love, the selflessness. But at the same time, there is nothing wrong in having that idea that we like to be appreciated back. So if you offer somebody a cup of tea, there is it's not actually selfish expectation, but there is expectation in each one of us that we like to hear back, thank you very much, or somebody says, oh, that tea was great, that meal was great, or what you did was great. But in many situations, when you are looking after somebody who hasn't got that ability to actually come forward every day and say, that was great, thank you very much for this, thank you very much for that. As a carer, or the person who is offering the service, the seva, has to really remind themselves. Now I'm saying that again, we need to remind ourselves for those people that it's not that they don't want to appreciate, they don't have that attitude of appreciation, they don't know how to do it. Okay, they're just not on that level of constantly saying thank you, I'm so grateful, I'm so appreciative to the love, the service you're providing. But it doesn't mean that they don't appreciate it. Actually, they what they get from you, when you see the unconditional love, the support and gratitude they have for all your service that you're providing, but they just, maybe they can't put it into the language, they can't put it in the way people like you and me might be able to do it. And to me, that is the one of the yogic attitude we like to learn, we like to practice in our life, is not only having the selfless attitude, but letting go of that need, that I need to hear back, I need to have that appreciation, I need to have that expression from somebody else. So what I was really sort of trying to bring it up or share with you all is developing a little bit more deeper love and gratitude for your own self, and appreciating that to individually. And I know, like in our modern society, especially the Western society, we are sometimes can be overly caught in like self, not appreciating or not expressing that self-love or the gratitude. It seems to be, we think that I'm being very selfish when I say to myself, well done for that. And it's something I know, like, Helen been with me quite a few times. I do tell everyone, when you make yourself a cup of tea, how many times you would have said thank you and well done for making a cup of tea. So it's actually, whatever you do, your service, your love, the care that you're offering either to yourself or people you love in your life, or you need to really learn and create this new attitude of self-love and self-appreciation. And please trust me, it does not mean at all that you are being selfish. And the good thing with that, when you start to appreciate your service, your actions, your attitude, your mindset, what you offering to other people, what you offering to yourself, other people also start to recognize it. And that's, to me, another truly amazing lesson of putting yourself, your service, your actions, as long as they are obviously something worth to be approved. I don't want you to beat somebody up and say, I'm going to tell myself that it's okay for me to do it, I've done a good job. But all the good things that you do, you must learn, or you should learn to find that inner heart of love and appreciation for it. Because it's very easy, isn't it, when someone says, oh, what have you done today? And we're like, oh, I haven't done anything, my life is terrible, my life just goes in doing this and all this household caring tasks. But actually, that doesn't really mean that you haven't done anything. It might be so far more important than being the Prime Minister of the country. Because sometimes I think, oh, that guy has, either making mess or doing great. But actually, for your own center of the life, the Dharma, we call it, the absolute duty that you have taken on, it can be seen far more bigger than what other people may be doing out there, which has been recognized. So you must really learn to create this positive recognition, positive self-approval. And honestly, the self-approval is a key to bring this inner joyfulness, and when you start to feel good about something. I know so many people, when I talk to them, what have you done today? And this is honestly, now even sometimes I get caught into these silly things too, and then like, oh, I haven't done anything. And then I'm like, oh, so are you just resting all day, or you just had a long sleep? And they're like, oh no, I have cleaned the house, I've done the dishes, I managed to help this person, I managed to do that. And I'm like, how can we say that I haven't done anything? But somehow, you see, our recognition or the way we perceive things can be so far beyond our reality. Now, I'm not saying that people should not have the ambitions, but actually, if we have an ambition, something to achieve in life, but we are too far disconnected with our reality, then what that does, every day you put your spirit, your self-esteem, your life down. And it's worth to actually sit down every day for 5 minutes and make a list of things that you have achieved. And honestly, why I'm saying it, because the minute I say things you have achieved, we all like to think significant to the world on a bigger picture. But actually, for your own health, your well-being, or even as simple as making your meal and eating it. Tell me, if you haven't eaten your proper meal, how can you be healthy? How can you have the energy to get out and do things? Having a little bit of sleep, having a little bit of rest seems to be, so many of us think it's a negative selfishness, but actually not. More you are recharged, more you are healthy and deeply rejuvenated from within, more you can be useful, helpful, or caring to other people. And to me, that's the attitude I would like to offer you all to rethink and replan your mindset and your attitude towards every activity you do. So the practice, if you can make 5 minutes every day, whenever you got a bit of chance, sit down and make a list of every little thing you have done. And I'm defining again, every little thing you have done, because all those little things, they matter. Why do they matter? Well, if you have sweep the floor, tell me, doesn't it feel good? But we tend to think, I haven't done anything. Making yourself a cup of tea or having half an hour rest in middle of the day because you worked hard. And that's the appreciation I like you all to have, that you not only offering yourself into that service to the family or to the person you're taking care of, but you also offering a little bit of love, a little bit of self-care and appreciation for that. To me, the appreciation or the gratitude for it is actually really, really important. Because the minute you start to feel that, then even if you have half an hour, I honestly don't know. Sometimes I laugh actually in a British culture. As there is a song, isn't it? Putting my feet on the sofa. I can't remember exactly how it is, but there is a song. I'm just going to have my feet up and then chill for a day. But actually, it's quite healthy to remind yourself at least several times in a day, even for 5 minutes. I'm going to put my feet up and take a breathe. Have a glass of water or a glass of juice, eat something healthy or even maybe a chocolate. That's honestly also fine as long as you are mindful of that you are treating yourself. And to me, that attitude of learning to look after, learning to love and nurture yourself, that your health, your happiness, your joyfulness also matters. So the practice here is self-approval, self-appreciation, or the love or the gratitude you should express towards yourself. And I don't know how many of you do, this is creating the time. How many times you would have tapped on your own shoulder to say, well done me? Or how many times you just gently stroke on your own face or give your shoulders a bit of massage or that soft touch. In our old Indian culture, see, when I grew up around my grandmother, it used to be honestly such a common practice where people will just do a bit of self-love, doing their own hands or giving themselves a hug, where you really draw your knees into your arms and head down to them. And also when, honestly, sometimes I think the Indian culture used to be truly dramatic culture. But when I came here, I realized actually expressing our feelings, our emotions, and finding the way to let go is very important. You don't always have to be held upright, like it's okay, I'm fine. Now and then also it is healthy, it is fine to tell yourself or somebody who can help you, somebody who can lift you up, to say, I'm not feeling well, I need help. So it's not actually that you being negative or you being bad or it's nothing to do with the ego. It's the self-care, self-love. So in Indian culture, we used to have this quite a common thing. When you upset somebody, they will have this whole tantrum of the emotional drama. I'm not talking to you, just leave me alone until we sort that situation out. So now and then it's actually giving yourself a break, giving yourself a recognition and approval, and then finding the way to let go. As I believe that Deepika would have done this amazing practice of doing, and it's a really great practice, doing a bit of shaking of your hands, shaking your head, or you can do a bit of sound like blah, 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 blah. It's used to be so common, or the practice I tell everyone, please make yourself a corner somewhere in the house or in a place and choose your favorite divine or deity or God, Jesus, Mother Mary or Shiva or Ganesh, whatever you believe in. And if you don't believe in that, maybe have just a stone, we call it saligram. It can be a crystal, it can be a candle, it can be a lamp, something that you really feel connected with. Choose that and keep that somewhere in a sacred place, in a safe place. And whenever you're feeling down mentally or emotionally, bring that out, put it up on a table or somewhere safe, light a candle. Please do something nice for it to begin with, and then let go or express how you're feeling, what you're thinking. And in yoga we call it self-talk. But that talk has to be out loud, and as you out loud start to talk, you will start to feel lighter. You will start to feel like you have expressed it. It's almost, we all are human beings and we love to be heard. But then many things in our life, obviously, I'm sure you all know that we don't want people to hear, isn't it? Because again, in the yogic idea, we say, when there is something mental or emotional boiling or cooking up in your mind, if you're dealing with it yourself, there is only one mind that need healing, that need the love, that need the cure. If you have let two minds other somebody else know, then you have to heal two people. And if you speak it out and put it out on Facebook and let everyone know, well, you would have to heal all those people. So to me, when you are into that emotional burst, the whatever you're going through, the first step is try to breathe deep, try to find some letting go, shaking around and doing something. Maybe try to find a bit of time to relax or sit down and have a nice cup of tea, go for a nice walk into the nature. The second step, find something that you can talk to. If nothing, you can just have a big mirror, sit in front of yourself and talk to your own self. And honestly, I used to really love it back in India, just a mirror, and I will talk to myself. So having that self-talk out loud and let yourself listen your own voice. And when you can express it that way, I can tell you at least 50%, if not 100% times, you will hear or know the answer and you will find the way how to deal with it. But finding the way to release the emotions, releasing what you're feeling, and you need to be heard. But you need to, most of the time you will find that you need to be heard by your own self. So it's worth to actually create something, and I do it so many times. And once I've done my what I call the emptying, pouring all the emotions out on whatever you got, make sure you do something to also appreciate. Even if it's a stone, then what I do, I take the stone and give it a good clean wash and then put it back in nice and dry somewhere in a beautiful place. So it's also learning to appreciate. And this is how, if you think of how the temples, the churches, all these places, they have done amazing healing for us through the faith. Because there is some corner of that place you can go and sit down and do your prayer. It's almost like the emotional or mental catharsis. So you should really make somewhere where you can do something healthy, something good, something sort of that appreciative for yourself. So that's the practice 2. Now the practice 3, and it is honestly, it's one of the most amazing thing you can take, and I get feedback from so many people from the workshops I have done. You take a simple inhalation through your nostrils, you breathe in through the nose, and then you breathe out through the mouth. You can make a bit of whistle sound, or just simple like I hope you all can hear me. So let's try to do it 9 times, okay, and see. And what we want to do when you're sighing your breath out, you can really make your lips into the round sort of peak where there is like, or you can just keep them relaxed and just gently sigh your breath. You can also bring your tongue out a bit as if you're breathing out from the tongue. That doesn't really matter, but we want to extend the out breath and have the sigh, and then I will talk about it and you can share a bit of experience too. So let's do 9 rounds. Just sit comfortably. You can be on your chair as long as you got spine straight, that's great. Or you can also actually lie down comfortably and enjoy that way too. So let's do it. Breathe out. So in through the nose. Sigh your breath. In through the nose. Sigh out. In through the nose. Sigh out through the mouth. In through the nose. Let go. In. Let go. In. Let go. In. Let go. In. Let go. Last one. In. Let go. Now I can just sit quiet for a minute, just really feel this inner sense of clarity or the emptiness from within. That you're letting go any negative feeling, emotion or the mindset. Okay, that's great. So you all can open your eyes, have a sip of water or your sip of cup of tea, just to, as you know, you lose quite a bit of moisture from the throat and the mouth when you're doing that. So it's actually quite a powerful breathing, we call it, for the mental and emotional catharsis. And in yoga we have the concept of purka and rejka. So when you breathe in, the naturally think of you breathing in this cosmic spirit or the vital force, life force. As you all know that the life exists as long as you're breathing. And the breathing out is letting go that old energy, the toxic energy or the mental, emotional sort of the darkness, the dullness that is there. And it's not only the yogic, actually, in also into the Latin and the Greek concept, we have the concept of inspiro, expiro, or think of inhalation, exhalation. So you inspiro, you breathing in the spirit, and expiro, you letting go the darkness or the dark, the negative spirit out of you. So this is amazing sort of practices, finding yourself few minutes to do that. And I will stop for a few minutes if maybe anyone of you want to ask or talk or share something so far before we go into the next practice.
Can I ask about you counting how long a breath you doing there?
So we need that one, Helen. Honestly, you don't need to really count your breath. What the practice is, you know, when you're breathing out,
fully.
You want to breathe it out as long as it can be. And you know, you will find gradually you should be able to build it like 15-20 seconds easily. And that's where your body and your mind, your nervous system will start to feel this sense of release. And what it really does on the brain level or nervous system level, it starts to help you to let go of this, what we call the nervousness, or you know, your nervous system, your brain, your mind goes into the frozen system where we cling onto the breath. And when you cling onto the breath, you stiffening your respiratory system, your lungs, not letting yourself or creating the space to breathe deep. So you're trying to enforce yourself physically, mentally and emotionally to breathe out. And obviously, you know, this is quite interesting to think you're breathing, your lungs, they don't have the concept of inhalation, okay? Our lungs, the active part of the breathing is breathing out. Your inhalation is a passive part, you know, like the bellow thing we used to have for the fire. If you have done, you press it out. You don't have to expand it to breathe in, do you? You just like press it out and you let go. and it breathes in. So that is the I believe the yogic concept is, if you force all that trapped breath out, the carbon dioxide or the toxins out, your lungs will be able to breathe in more oxygen, more fresh air, and in that way your nervous system, your brain start to feel recharged. And then the second idea, you see, whenever you are caught into any tension, any negative feeling or emotion, we tend to stop breathing. So that way you are also breaking out of that catching the breath, that you want to live, you want to survive healthy, you want to bring that sense of happiness by expanding the breath. And longer you expand, lighter, and then the inner joy will start to grow, your hormones will calm down, your nervous system will calm down, even your digestion, it's amazing that will start to improve. Anybody else want to share something, or any question?
So should you try and make the out breath longer to
Yeah.
try extend it as time goes on? That's more beneficial.
Yes, you want to extend it as long as you can, Helen. Yes. So this is actually not just a conscious practice, but also a physical practice where you want to expand the out breath as long as you can. And more you do it, it's just amazing. Like like for me, even when I did 9 rounds with you, I can just feel this sense of like centeredness or this sense of groundedness from within.
Yeah, you can feel a release, can't you? It's like your whole body drops down.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's something, even like, I'm glad that, thanks for demonstrating that, Helen. It's something we actually don't do, when we have so conditioned into being upright, like holding up and not letting ourselves, it's almost like, relaxing is like letting down, but actually the relaxation is not letting down. You can't hold always like that. That's very tension, isn't it? So in our life, actually, to me, whenever you need, it's fine to like, it's nice, it's actually healthy to even tell yourself, I had enough of it. Maybe, we don't have to say it in public place, you don't have to always do things in front of people, but it's one of the most natural expression when you are really annoyed with something, what you do, if you have the opportunity, if you can come out of the ego like, if you try to explain something to somebody and that person is just not getting it, and you're like, God's sake, I give up. So I guess, I would not do it in front of everybody. Maybe just find your quiet corner. Some people actually also need to know that too. But just doing that, and to me that conscious breathing is expression of that. And I do really recommend people who look after other people should really practice that breathing several times a day. And it just takes like 5-10 minutes, And somebody asked me once, like, I just live in a flat with the one person and I look after that, and there is no hide place. And I kind of, sometimes you just say something that normally I would not recommend. I said, at least you go toilet, when you go and take a seat on the toilet and do that breathing for a couple of times before you come out. Now this lovely lady, obviously she was struggling with so much tension of stress that was building up, because she was looking after 24/7 of her mother, and because of the mother was old and sort of lost that what we call the mindfulness or the care we have, so she would always talk very bluntly and say nasty things. And even though this woman into the workshop, the session, she knew that her mother doesn't mean anything she says, but she just hasn't got the control, and she gradually built up this pain and the emotional guilt and frustration and anger towards it. And I was just like, wow, just start this practice. Anyway, what happened after a few weeks of the workshop, this lady met with me in the Tesco Kamardan, and she was sort of like chasing behind me, and she was like, oh, Nyandev, can you stop? And I was trying to really remember, like, where did I meet with this lady, because it was organized by the Arts Care in Kamardan, and I stopped, and she was like, oh, do you mind if I give you a hug? Like, I'm talking before lockdown, guys, okay, not now. I'm talking a year ago. And I'm like, of course not. Hug is always nice. So we both gave a hug. And she was like, oh, do you remember that breathing you taught me? And I'm like, oh, which breathing? Anyway, just trying to really remember. So the breathing, like, and she said, I'm practicing it 5 times a day. And my life and my relation with my mother that I was looking after, I'm still looking after, has totally changed. And I was like, oh wow, so it's something worth to do or to practice, to find a way to release that heaviness, release those emotional energy that builds up. And it's almost like, telling yourself like, I deserve some me time, even if it's for a minute or 2 minutes or a couple of minutes. If you can expand it for a longer practice, that's obviously also really, really great. Now, moving to, if anyone else wants to maybe share something before I move to the next practice. No, all good? Okay, so to me, the fourth thing that I recommend everyone, as and when you need or when you feel you're really caught or trapped into something, as in yoga, I love something about yoga, it doesn't actually bluntly tell us the solution of the problem. So what, Patanjali in our Yoga Sutras, he says, whenever you are caught into something mental or emotional and you're finding you cannot deal with it, or it's really irritating you or getting you to the point where you're going to have a total breakdown. Either you might burst into the anger, emotion, or the self-harm or the reaction which you don't want to do that. Any person who really have that heart of caring, love, and a good attitude towards others would find it a struggle. And I know, like, whenever we burst into the emotion, we beat ourselves up for so much longer afterwards. So here he says, whenever you are in that situation, you don't want to have that breakdown, you don't want to have the burst of emotion, do something. Now, why he said do something about it. Now, to me, he does not say that sit down and meditate or do some breathing, do some hot yoga. He said do one thing that works for you. Now, for each one of us, for some people, I know they like, oh, as long as I get a nice cup of tea or coffee or a cake or a chocolate, or I go for a walk into the fresh air, or I might just... So, there has to be one thing that always works for you. And I can tell you my weakness, you see, when I'm caught into something and I can't deal with it, now obviously, now I cannot really do that. And this is a big struggle. If I can get out to a cafe somewhere and have a coffee and cake, it somehow, honestly, it doesn't matter what situation I'm caught into, if I can give myself that half an hour, run away from it, just go somewhere where I can be looked after. And this is, it's a truly amazing place. You just got to find a place where someone can just make you the tea or the coffee or something you love to be appreciated. Now, for some people, it can be just go for a shower, go for a walk, do some exercise. Or maybe, lots of people I've known, they love to play around their pet, either it's a dog or a cat. It doesn't matter what it is, do that thing. So it means, don't let yourself get buried under that emotion. Okay, to me, that is the idea in it. Instead of hiding inside and going round and round, that's why we do it anyway. If you are caught into something, what we like to do, just going round and round, keep thinking about it and keep thinking about it, and we just constantly beat ourselves up, and then we lose this enhanced ability to even recognize that there is a problem and there is a solution. To recognize, to find out the solution, what we need to do, get away from it. And in a one phrase, if I want to put that practice together, creating the gap between the stimulus, the situation, and the reaction. So when you are caught into that stimulus, whatever it is, give yourself, buy yourself time. Now, I'm not going to tell you how do you do it. Find what works for you and do that thing that gives you the time to not muddle into it. And honestly, to me, I don't know if I can give you any better practice. I know you all might think, come on, Jan, they're now just telling us to do our own thing. But if you think about what it is, what is it that works for you? As I told you mine, just a coffee and cake. And for me, honestly, any problem can be resolved if I can get out. And this is something I definitely am struggling at the moment, because that's the one thing I cannot do at the moment. I cannot go out, even though there is a one nice takeaway cafe, in Navarth, where still I managed to get out and just buy it and come back and sit back in my car and enjoy the drink and the cake. Okay, I'm going to stop again. Let's see if you would like to share something.
There's a cafe in Saundersfoot. You can go and sit outside and eat a coffee and cake. I went there last weekend.
Oh wow, you have to send me the link or something, Helen, please. I would
It's
love
on
to.
the beach, but it's a bit of a long way for you, isn't it, to Saundersfoot?
Yeah, I guess I have to check if I can legally go there. That's the first thing.
Yeah, you might not be allowed.
Yeah, that's the problem, yeah.
I think it's lovely to be given permission. Have coffee and cake. I mean, that's not my thing. My thing is the bath, I think. It's lovely to be given permission to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
Yeah, but it's honestly, Kate, that's what we all need, isn't it? Like, it's just doing something that truly works for you, that lifts your heart out of that muddleness. It doesn't have to be big. I guess maybe we all think that the solution of everything has to be something too big, but actually not. It's just simple things.
Sometimes it's just a pause, isn't it? Just a pause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how you do it. It just.
Mine's a walk.
Oh wow. Mm-hmm.
Because it's so lovely around here, isn't it? I mean, we're just so lucky to have all this beautiful countryside.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I move to the fifth one. I'm just giving a bit of space for you all, because I want to have a bit of interaction really with you all to see what we need next. Now, as we're talking about this whole idea of self-love or self-care, another really, really powerful practice, which I know Deepika did a little bit more, we will do a bit more extended practice, and we will be using also the breathing we done through it. So this is again the touch, we call it, the sparsha, the self-touch or the self-appreciation. It is another great healing practice whenever you are into the tension or whenever you are feeling that it's so hard to deal with something. And this is the tapping practice, where you begin with sort of tapping our fingers to charge the fingers up. Now in a yogic idea, we believe that each of our fingers are representing different subtle energies or the elements. You got the earth, you got the water, you got the air, you got the fire, and you got the space. So in that way, by creating these energies, tapping them, you are activating those elements that are there in you to connect you back to the elements of our universe or the nature. And then you just tap around the whole body and go through, and as you tapping it, because we are using it for emotional catharsis, through that process we want to keep doing the sigh breath, like so. Shall we practice it, and then maybe we can talk so you all know what we're talking about. So you can just follow it with me when you're ready. So we'll be breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. And we want to now, in this tapping, we want to actually begin with the back of your neck, because this is the area in yoga we believe is the mind seat of your unconscious and your subconscious mind. So any feeling, emotions that you cannot process get stored in there. And this is why I'm sure, when you're emotionally struggling, your neck gives up. That's the first thing you feel like, oh, my neck is just had enough, because of the emotional tension. So let's begin with charging up our fingers. You can start tapping. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Once you feel the sensations in your fingertips, then you bring them behind the back of your neck. And I'd like you to listen this tapping, the sound of your fingers and the sigh breath. Really feeling that you're releasing any emotional, any mental tension or the negativity that you can't deal or you don't want to deal. Let's say it like that. And then come around your top of head, your skull, and especially, also intellectually, we like to justify, we like to reason, we like to explain things, but lots of things in life, maybe they don't really have explanation. They just need to be let go, they need to be dealt with. So just feel that you're tapping to appreciate your thinking, appreciate your wisdom, but also letting go, not getting caught into anything. Come at your forehead. Your forehead is the seat of how you feel that other people are seeing your own intelligence, how people think about you. But again, that's not really something that we need to worry. That's something they need to think about. Come around your face. So the face is really your self-love. It really explains how you look after yourself, how loving or connected you are with your own true, your real self. You can almost feel as if you're just giving a nice sort of soft touch with a cream or one of the essential oil. You can even use that too. Coming around your throat, with sort of expressing your speech, listening yourself, listening other people, and then use your firm palms across your chest. Here we hold all the burden of the society, people. And what I really like to do here, I like to do a little bit of pretend cough, like as if you are coughing out. Sort of like, again, if you think when you caught into something, you feel like you want to cough, but it's not coming out. So I do like, you can make different sounds too. And then come around your lower chest, your abdomen, your stomach area. And again, really feel that you're just giving your mind a bit of tap, a mind a bit of love, a bit of appreciation. Come down to the lower abdomen, your sacral, your pelvic area. Keep breathing and then come down to your legs. You can take your feet out and do a bit of tapping on your soles of your feet. And then coming back to your thighs. And then go back to your hips, your buttocks. Especially, some of the feelings, the emotions, we hold so much tension there, and then come back, reach to your back as far as you can, come to your side, maybe onto one side, other side, and then on your arm, shoulder, all around, front, back, sides, other side. And then give a good shake to your hands. Shake out your head. Give a really good thorough cleanse all around your space. You can make a bit of sound if you like this. And then breathe in, draw it all in into your fists. Bring it in and then let go and hush out. And then do another good cleanse all around your physical space, your body, really clearing up yourself physically, mentally, emotionally. And let the God, the divine, whatever you believe in, to look after it. Breathe in and let go. Just put your hands on your knees. Take your head down. I'd like you to just relax and sit quiet for a minute. Just feel this beautiful light, the vibration, the healing from within. Okay, let's carry on. I will stop again here for a minute or two. If anyone wants to share or maybe ask something, please do that. And we'll do one more little practice to finish before the lunch. You're all doing really well. No, shall we carry on? Okay, so that's a bit of really the cleansing practice we did, and a bit of tapping for really finding your own time. And again, you can just do it as and when you really feel you need. Now, to me, the last practice really is not buying in everything that we see we being put forward to or we have been exposed to. And the practice I tend to do, whenever I'm dealing with people or going through something that I know that I cannot tell them that the way they're behaving, way they're doing or acting or reacting, it's not appropriate. Because you know that if you tell some people, it's going to cause more harm than benefit, or you know in your heart that intentionally they don't mean to, but they just don't have the control, they don't have that sort of ability or intelligence to recognize it. Then what you do in your own mind, in your own heart, is remind yourself that this is not for me. Now the practice, I tend to really simplify. Think that you are shopping out in your favorite place. I don't know, maybe Tesco or Asda or wherever you go, it doesn't matter. But you just visualize yourself, you wandering around in the supermarket, buying the food, the essentials you need. Now, if you can give me an idea when you're walking around now, I don't know, some of us like to just go with our open mind and we just buy what we need. Some of us may be having a list with us when we're shopping. But what you do with all those hundreds and hundreds of things that you don't want or you don't need or you don't buy? Do you beat yourself up? Do you emotionally, mentally remind yourself what on the earth, why all these things are there? Do you get angry? Do you go and complain to the manager of the supermarket that why on the earth you got all these things that I don't want to look at, I don't want to buy? What we normally do, we don't pay attention, don't buy anything that we don't need. Now you can put few words, we don't need or we don't like or we don't want. Because I know we also, when we're shopping, we buy something that we need, something that we like, or something that we just feel like, oh, I have to just get it because it's on sale. It doesn't matter. But what we do with the rest of the stuff, we just don't pay our attention. We don't let our mind, our desires or our senses to get caught into them. And that is the practice. When people are showing us, think of them as the supermarket, and they are really offering us to see what they have. Either they mean it or don't mean it, but do you need to buy it? It's our individual conscious choice to respond to it or not respond to it. Someone gives me a compliment, now I can be flattened, or I don't buy it, I don't take any attention to it. Someone says something that is not nice. So it's up to me, how do I process it? So it's also having that your higher self that sits in your heart to empower that to just consciously in your own heart, your own mind to say, this is not for me. You don't have to say out loud. And honestly, for me, when I practice it, I don't ever say out loud to people. But when people behaving in a certain way, I know that I don't want to cause argument. Just in my mind, I say, you keep it yourself. This is not for me. So it's just a worth practice to take just not letting yourself to be suffering or become victim of each and everything that you are seeing, you are hearing, or you are looking, you are experiencing. Because we do have that conscious choice to build that ability. And then the last and most important for me, learn to give compliments. Honestly, to me, one of the most powerful practice is learn to give compliments, because that's the expression of our gratitude. Now the compliment can be also for yourself. It doesn't have to be always for other people. Learn to give compliments. Say well done, say thank you, say express that in some form. And to me, that expression is your own expression for yourself is, I'm going to sit down and have a cup of tea because I have done what needed to be done. I'm going to do a bit of breathing, I'm going to do a bit of relaxation, I'm going to go and have a fruit or a cake or eat something or treat myself with something. So make sure that you are also able to compliment yourself or compliment people who deserve it. Express that, honestly express that, say it out loud. It's somehow we in the life, many people, we too caught into the busyness of the life or the situations that we don't put it out to ourselves, to other people. So make sure you express that love, that gratitude to yourself and give the compliments. It's one of the most beautiful gifts you can have, you can receive. When you stand in front of the mirror, make sure you tell yourself, I am perfectly beautiful who I am. Now you can change that word. It doesn't have to, please don't take my words literally. It can come out the way it need to be heard by you for yourself. Or the people you're looking after, people you're working, people you are sort of living your life around with. It's almost like, we all expect the compliments but don't know how to give it to other people or how to give it to ourselves. I know, like, one of the things I do remind people that we want people to tell us amazing things, but what we tell other people seems to be, if someone like, oh, tell me about you, how are you today? We like to start with, oh, I'm terrible, my life is useless, I haven't done anything amazing. And then you expect that person to say back and say, oh, you are such an amazing person. And how I learned this lesson actually not long ago. Somebody asked me that, can I write a review on that person? Now this is a bit of review for somebody's website or the work they were doing. Now somehow, every time I met with that yoga teacher, he would always talk about all the terrible things and things that he's not happy. And somehow I decided I'm just going to write how it feels coming out of me. So I wrote a paragraph. Now I never sent it to him, okay? Don't take it, don't worry too much. But it was so amazing actually. The first paragraph I wrote, it came out everything he always said to me about himself. So it's actually, when you think, if somebody is writing a report on you, well, 80% of that report is what you tell them, isn't it? And then the other 20%, we put our spices, our flavor, and how do we see it, how do we experience it. So if I'm telling you, oh, look guys, I practice yoga, I'm vegetarian, and I do this, that. Now, if next day somebody else asks, oh, okay, do you know anything about Nyan Dev? I know you've done the work, so tell me about him. What you're going to tell people is what I'm telling you. If I say, oh, I drink, I eat meat, and I'm terrible, I get angry easily, if someone else asks you about me, then it's not your fault, is it? And to me, that is the self-love, self-appreciation is create a positive language, a positive vibe, a positive personality of yourself in front of other people. And honestly, it's not being selfish, it's being or developing the self-love, self-care.